Yeehaw. Howdy, partners. And and welcome to all the good people wherever you may be. That music, I felt like doing a little bit something different. So there you go. What are we looking at here? I don't even look now at the. Really, I've stopped looking at the thumbs up and thumbs down just because it doesn't matter. So what's the point? Um, Music makes me want to jump up and do-si-do. Yeah, that's the thing. Um, Yeehaw, man. Cowboy music. Hayride. Yeah, maybe we can all go have a, what do they call them? The little get-togethers where they all go for the dance. Uh, what do they call 'em? I don't remember. I guess it's do-si-do. That's one thing. But they used to have the little get-togethers, square dancing and that kind of thing in the olden days. Um, yeah, the hoedown, which is pretty appropriate here. The hoe down. All right. What's happening, Steve? Yeah, square dancing, hoe down, and all that kind of stuff. Here we are again. Yet another day on the inside. It's not all bad, though. Sometimes staying inside means being productive. But the following stream and all my videos on this channel and whatever I do is brought to you by the good viewers and my Patreon patrons, website VIP members, and your contributions. And of course, those who purchase my books and merch. Thank you to all those who have been purchasing them. You're the ones who make this channel possible and who keep the lights on and the rice cooking. Today's shout out goes to Mr. Carl in New York. If you're listening, how you doing? Soy Dog Cowboy, Carl, and many others who watch are in New York. Obviously, that's not a good place to be right now, but stay inside, stay safe, and thank you very much for your support. What's happening? The high down. Um, let's see here. Now, as of 8:44, the current temperature was 88 degrees. High of 96, low of 82. Feels like 99 degrees out. That's Fahrenheit, of course. 0% chance of rain. 74% humidity. Winds southeastern at 6 miles an hour. Visibility 6 miles. UV index 3. Air quality index 57. Now you want to hear something interesting. Even the worst polluted cities in the world right now. Ghaziabad in India, 110.2. That tops the list. Hotan, China, 110.1. And Gujranwala, Pakistan, 105.3. The rest of the top 10 are all in India and Pakistan, which I find to be pretty interesting. The last we checked, the Thai baht was 32.7796. Now it's 32.5638. Well, let me see something here. Yeah, that's as of right now. So pretty interesting to see how things are going on. Carl, what's happening? I don't want to be a pessimist. I try to be a realist. But as the song goes, we've only just begun. And it's not a matter of if, but when it's going to get worse. Now, I've been watching all the Trump press conferences and several other press conferences from around the world. I'm not going to name names, but I've watched a few. And it seems to me that the politicians, especially in the United States, are full of bluster. And with Trump, it's always that he's giving praise to everybody. But there's very little more than this. Oh, so-and-so's doing a great job. And in a life or death situation like this, it's not really enough to say, oh, well, I'm working with the governors of all the states and I'm so proud of them. I've got great relationships with them. And, even Gavin Newsom, who, as you all know, I've had my problems with, he's doing really good, and we're on it. I'm really proud of him. And all that stuff is irrelevant. It doesn't mean shit. And this is what I'm rather disappointed in the United States with, because it's all talk. Let me just show you. I'm moving. I guess what's the thing in the boiler room or whatever? Emotion creates motion or something like that. Well, that's kind of what this is. It seems to me like he's just moving. The thing is what people want to do is they want to see respirators, gowns, syringes, mask, and all these kind of things. They want to see them in the hospital, to where doctors are not walking through the hospitals going, I'm short of materials. We don't know what we're going to do. And quite frankly, I'm always hesitant to just bash a politician for no reason. There usually has to be a reason. And while I don't think that Trump is the most presidential of presidents by any means, he has done some positive things. But when it comes to this situation, which is all that's important, everything he's done in the past, he grabbed her by the pussy or whatever, all that's irrelevant right now, because it doesn't factor in. What factors in is, what is he doing? What's getting done? And they say there's supposed to be 100,000 respirators in the next 100 days or something like that. I hope so. I hope so. Now, I watch Trump and I watch Pence, and I can't stand to watch Pence because it's like watching the paint peel on a wall. But I'm going to say it right here. This is not going to be over in a few weeks in Thailand. It's not going to be over in a few weeks in the United States. There's no way in hell. And I don't think people are that stupid to believe that in another 2 or 3 weeks it's going to all be over. It's not going to happen. And I'm going to say it here, and I've said it before, but we'll be lucky if at least here, and remember that Thailand is only the size approximately of Texas. It's not huge. It's not the United States. And I think here we'll be lucky if this country is self-contained by the end of May. And I'll go out on a limb and say that pretty much everywhere 2020 is shot. It's in the toilet. It's down the shitter, however you want to put it. It doesn't look good. And why the president would state that he's shooting for people to be in churches by Easter, it's just beyond me. And I don't think people are that clueless. Listen, there's some stupid people in the world, but I don't think people are that clueless where they go, oh yeah, everything's going to be over in, President Trump said it'll be over by Easter and we'll be in the church again. I agree, Mr. Mitch. What he does moving forward is the issue. I want to see that he's actually doing something, as opposed to just yapping about what's going on. And I'm not one of these people who agree with the mainstream media. Oh, well, the president shouldn't be doing a press conference every day. He shouldn't be doing this. He shouldn't be doing that. Shut up. It's not up for you to determine what he does. You want to cover him, cover him. You don't want to cover him, fine. That's fine too. Let somebody else cover him. They'll get all the ratings. And, shut up until then. Rachel Maddow. I can't stand her. She's another one. She's another one of the group that I don't like. Between AOC and Maxine Waters and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. Ugh. It's ridiculous. Really, it's ridiculous. Now, I was watching something that Pence said. Mitigation efforts have to stay strong, in some cases even stronger. I think that really what they should do in the United States is just concentrate on getting people to stay the fuck inside. Because I don't think that many people are staying inside. I mean, it's business as usual for a lot of people. You're not going to just do this by patchwork because people travel around. Unless he says you can't travel from state to state, and I doubt that's going to happen. You know, it's just going to go on and on and on. And let me just tell you right now, let me see, let me hit refresh here. I went to bed yesterday and it was, how many? Let me see here. I saved a screenshot of it. 621,103. Now we're up to 663,740. It says new cases 24,000, but maybe I saved this in the morning, and since yesterday morning till now, an additional 40,000 cases, and about 2,200 dead. Now if you do the math and that continues for a year, that's closing in on 1 million people dead. So, there's a lot to think about, and when I'm sitting inside all the time, I got a lot, I have a lot of time to think, but I'd say the first step is just to get people to stay inside. And something else that I saw Pence said, he said, now this is what really gets me. The best thing every American can do is to put in practice the president's 15-day to slow the spread. Listen, I understand you're simplifying it for Joe Dumbfuck out in the middle of, bumfuck Iowa or wherever it might be. Sorry, Iowa. I'm just, if somebody from Iowa's watching, it's not your state. It's just a, figure of speech. He's trying to simplify it, but it's not quite that simple. And then he goes on to say, washing your hands, personal hygiene. If you're sick, stay home. If you can, work from home. Don't eat in restaurants. Use the drive-thru. Avoid gatherings of more than 10. Avoid gatherings of more than 10. Why the fuck are you hanging out with 10 people? I don't get it. Aside from work, what else are you doing that is so important you gotta be with 10 people? We're having a family reunion. Okay, well, cancel it. Avoid non-essential travel. Tens of millions of Americans have been doing this. We know it's had an effect, and we'll see in the data in the weeks ahead. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a medical professional, but how about stay inside until we tell you it's safe. Don't go out unless you absolutely have to. You need food. You need to go to the hospital, and it's an emergency. I can't see that. Then there it is. Well, there could be martial law in America. I don't know. I don't know about that, but in Florida, where my parents live, and also in many other places, seniors and around the world, seniors have been told to stay inside, and yet many do not. Now, in Sweden, they're going about life as they normally would. And maybe it's because it just takes time to sink in and to get it. Maybe it's because this is a silent disease. It's silent killer. Some people eventually do get it. Some people don't. But, hopefully they get it sooner than later. And by get it, I mean that they need to stay inside. And unfortunately, what this means is that all those asymptomatic people who are walking around without giving it a second thought are possibly killing people. And, has my viewership gone on? Not really. I mean, I have a steady, the growth is slow, but the views are quite a bit higher. Not necessarily from this. Uh, over the last, say, year, 6 months, the views have gone up. Due to everyone as we go, what is this? I think Croatia, they barely have anything. As soon as the New York gets over the hump, put Cuomo in charge of the. No, sorry, I don't think that's going to happen. Our lockdown here is turning into a curfew. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a curfew here in Thailand. I'm waiting to see if what happens if they ban people from leaving. I don't know why they would do that, but if they just ground all flights, then what are you going to do? Let's see here. See what I can find on Croatia here. I was looking for Serbia. Serbia is 659. It looks like the numbers are just being refreshed, so it's going to take a little bit of time. Maybe in the next hour, the numbers will be refreshed, and I can get some fresh numbers. But right now, they're not showing. I don't really see. Where is Croatia? It's not even on here, is it? Maybe I passed it up, but I don't see it. Let me look one more time real quick. Cambodia is still showing, they're showing 103, which is up 4. Not very many. I don't see Croatia at the moment. Oh, Croatia, 657, 5 deaths. So, I wouldn't vote for Cuomo. Sorry. I just, listen, if he's doing such a great job, then what the hell's going on in New York? Entering the country is one thing. I'm talking about exiting the country. Entering the country has become much more difficult here. But, CNN has been asking why the U.S. government wasn't better prepared. And that is a good question. But how many countries really were prepared for this? Truly prepared. Now, Singapore and South Korea were better organized, but they're much, much smaller. And much has been made about China and how they've stopped the spread of the virus. Personally, I think that's bullshit. I think they're just hiding things right now. And this is the way they operate. Their country's government, their government tends to do that. They hide, they lie. And I dare say that after all this has settled down, there's going to be hell to pay for China. They're going to have to pay through the nose. Now, a few things to remember is that South Korea and Singapore are nowhere near as large as the United States, and thus they're not mobilizing and organizing as many people and as many governments. Thailand's about the same as Texas, as I said earlier. And originally I said I thought this might blow over in the middle of May, but I have my doubts just because from what I've seen, while more people are wearing masks here, there are still enough people not wearing masks and not practicing social distancing that I think it's going to be quite some time before life is back to normal here. Like I said earlier, I think maybe 2020 is pretty much shot, and I'm talking about here as well. I don't think it's going to get back to normal until sometime next year. Now, why do I bring up the sizes of the countries and everything? Because coordinating efforts between the state and federal government is it's similar to coordinating 50 countries. Some of them quite small, but that's what it's, I would say you could, fuck Cuomo. I don't like the guy. What is he doing right now? Why are there dead people in trailers, tractor trailer trucks, or the refrigerated trailers, truck trailers? Why are they putting dead people there? Because they don't have their act together enough in New York to do anything else. Has the CDC screwed up for Pfizer? Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the tests. I'm very curious about that. Supposedly, they are going to. They already have something that will take less time. Just an update: the girl who I said I knew who got sick, and she was really, really ill, like laying on the sofa, drenched in sweat, that kind of thing. She went in, got tested, and they told her the test would be back to her. The test results would be back to her in 2 to 3 days, and then they told her, oh, it's going to be 5 to 7 days, and then they told her it'll be about 10 days, and she never got her test result back, and she ended up getting better by the time she was like, it's already, I mean, I'd be dead by now. You know. Well, here's the thing. What is he doing? I don't see that much going on right now with Cuomo. I don't know. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's all his problem. Mr. Mitch, that's just, yeah, okay. Good luck with that. It ain't going to happen. And he won't win. I can tell you that right now. Why did not use them when an alcohol gel? It's incredible. We can't get these things. It's failed. By the time they get the kits, 30 days has passed. Yeah. Well, there supposedly are a couple of new kits out now that make it faster, but to tell if you have it. But you know, getting them out to millions and millions of people, billions of people. You know, Mr. Mitch, all you're doing is acting like a cheerleader. It's not anything constructive. I mean, really. Cuomo? Yeah, okay, good. Let's see what happens. First of all, he's got to get the job done in New York to have any chance. So far, I haven't seen shit. The state is overwhelmed. Yeah. You know, I don't know. Well, maybe because he's only dealing with his little circle instead of 50 other circles and dealing with world leaders. And, you know, I got to imagine it's hard to keep it all straight. And, you know, if I was Trump, I would be turning to somebody and going, what's the info? And go to somebody, what's the info on that? You just designate a few people, and I'm sure he does that, but it doesn't seem to be working. Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, oh, yeah, Trump says he's going to do this, he's going to do that. Oh, we don't have any respirators. And then there's respirators stockpiled. What the fuck? Seriously, man. So he didn't know about him? I mean, come on, why don't you just bash the president and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and then just, we'll bash the president. Oh, we don't have any respirators. And there's, what, 1,000 of them? Holding them off for somewhere else? I don't know, man. Listen, this is not a political debate here. Bottom line is people are dying. That's the bottom line. Who's saving who? And to be, you know, I heard something that Dennis Miller said the other day. He said, I'm no longer willing to waste my time trying to change people's minds. And I find that to be incredibly accurate and insightful. Because the older I've gotten, first of all, the less I've given a shit about what other people think and if I can't change their mind. Because, you know, listen, I'm not always right, but I'm not also always wrong. Who's kissing Trump's ass? I'm not kissing Trump's ass. Ugh, Jesus Christ. We're going to move on. Yeah, we're going to move on. I'm definitely not kissing Trump's ass, believe me. I just started out by saying that all he does is fucking talk shit and talk about how everybody's so great and we've got the best people in the world. And listen, I don't give a shit if you got the best people in the world. Show me by action, not by words. That's the way I look at it. Okay? Yeah, it is stressful. I can only imagine being in New York. And, you know, because it's heated. But I will say I do think it's going to pick up here in Thailand. Um, in the next week or two. I've been saying the next couple days, and it's been going up little by little. The numbers have been increasing, and what was it in the U.S. recorded its first 1,000 coronavirus deaths in a month, and the next 1,000 took 2 days. Now I don't know how accurate that is, but in Italy and Spain, both countries recorded their deadliest days. Italy reported 969 deaths in 24 hours, while Spain reported 769. Italy has somewhere around 9,000 plus people that have died, and Spain almost 5,000. What is this? How about blaming Trump for calling it a hoax? Oh, Jesus Christ. Mr. Mitch, get the fuck off it. Seriously, dude. It's not about being delusional. It's not about being, oh, well, Trump is this and Trump is that. I don't give a fuck what Trump is. I really don't give a shit. I really don't care. Because all I care about is the end result. That's all I care about. I don't care about what he said, what he's done, blah, blah, blah. We're trying to have a decent conversation, Mr. Mitch, but we don't agree with you. A lot of people don't agree with you. There are some cases that I do agree you, but, that's it. Simple as that. Thank you, Soy Dog, for sending me that. Now, I don't know if anybody's seen it, but just look up Italian mayor yelling at Italians to stay inside. And this was, he is basically screaming at them and almost in tears, begging them not to go out because they want to have coffee or they want to see their friends. They want to have a little get together and have a meal with people. And he even said, don't go out to run. He said, our city normally doesn't even have 20 runners, and now for some reason everybody wants to be a runner. They're out there running like everything is okay. It's ridiculous. We're all very happy with this. Bill Gates said our government waited a month too long. Well, I do think that the government waited too long, and I also think that China bears some responsibility for that. Listen, you can poo-poo it all you want. You can overlook it, but I don't really care. I believe that the CCP has a lot to do with what's going on. And they don't want to take any fucking responsibility, which is exactly what they do all the time. They pass it on. Easy way to download these as an MP3. You talking about the stream, Steve? I'll make sure it gets done. I agree with Ms. I don't think that it's just Trump that didn't understand the gravity of the situation. He's got a lot of things to think about. You think about it. It's got to work. This is part of the problem with the United States government. As good as it may be in many ways, I think it takes time to filter up to him and to get to him where the gravity of a situation becomes known, unless, for instance, it's like, oh, we've got a nuclear bomb coming our way. I don't think they looked at it that way. And maybe that's something that needs to be addressed. Gym shut down means people are going to want to run, stay home, well, yeah, this is the thing. There are other exercises you can do. Well, that's true, Mr. Mitch, definitely. All the finger pointing and the blame game and all of a sudden, guess what? By the time it's over and people start getting blamed, some of the people will be out of office and they'll be like, hey, whatever, nothing's going to happen from it. Yeah, I can tell you that I looked on Lazada for something the other day and I saw China, 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 and then I saw Thailand. I was like, you can bet your ass if I can have anything to do with it, I'm not going to be buying things from China if I can help it. So just by the fact that a lot of people are in that frame of mind, they're boycotting China, whether subliminally or otherwise. I think that's going to hurt China in the long run. Let me go on with this here. Now, in India, there's starting March 24th, Prime Minister Narendra Modi implemented a strict 21-day lockdown, and police are out on the streets with masks on. With masks on and gloves and batons. And if they see somebody out, they're beating them with the batons. Now, I don't believe this is everywhere, but in some locations of the country, I've seen a couple of different videos where they're actually beating the piss out of people. People are on motorcycles. They're like, what are you out? You got to go back. And the guy didn't turn around fast enough. SWAT. They get nailed. So maybe that's what some people need. Maybe that's what I don't know that the Indians need that, but they got 1.3 billion, somewhere around that, in their country, and the uncontained spread of the virus would be devastating. I can only imagine what would happen. So far, just under 1,000 people have been infected, 24 dead. Now, here in Thailand and abroad, there are some unhappy people. There are Thai citizens stranded. They can't get back into the country because of the country's request for health certificates, the fit-to-fly permit issued by the embassy, and health certificates. Many Thais are saying that both documents, and especially the health certificates, are extremely difficult to obtain because the hospitals in Western countries are overburdened, and thus there is an activist who is arguing that the new regulation is ineffective, disproportionate, and unconstitutional, and they filed suit. There are people that are stuck. They can't get back into their own country. Yeah, if you want to be pissed off at China. That's the thing. Oh, Jesus. I'm not even going to get into this. Well, why don't we just blame Trump for everything? Everybody screwed up. Even in New York, had liberal papers calling for mass celebrations. Well, I guess it was in Spain. That in Spain they were talking about a doctor basically made a video, came out, and was talking about how they're so overwhelmed that now anybody that's over 65, if they require life support or a respirator, ventilator, that they just leave them. And they're like, sorry, we're going to have to deal with the younger people because they have a better chance of living, because they can't get to everybody. Well, that's the other thing. There is something else to be said, and that is, listen, he got voted in. This is the American system. Like him, hate him, love him, just you got to lump it for now. And then when it comes time to vote, you vote, and then that's how you do your part. Otherwise, I mean, listen, you can bitch and moan and all that, but it doesn't do a bit of good. He ain't listening, I can tell you that right now. You write to your Congress people, I can tell you right now, they are not worried about what you're writing them right now. They don't give a shit. You know what, Tom? I am befuddled. Completely befuddled. Sometimes I go, wait a minute, wasn't this supposed to be this way? And now it's that way. And now it's this way. And it's a back and forth. And to be honest, I don't even know what to believe sometimes. So my way of thinking, and I heard this a long time ago, and I learned this in boxing. The vast majority of people are completely full of shit. And that goes with politicians as well. Of course. They are in the vast. They're not in that little tiny percentage. You know, if they are telling the truth, it's a smidgen of truth. Well, what country was prepared, Mr. Mitch? And you got to remember something. The United States is a huge country. China, they basically had everything contained. They completely locked down Hubei province. So they locked down the province. They only have a small number of cases outside. Nobody's getting out. Yeah, but South Korea is a small country, a relatively small country. And yes, they were prepared, they were organized, but they're a relatively small country. You know, so it's not like the United States is in a different situation because they've got so much more coordinating to do, and it's a larger there's a larger number of people that they're dealing with and governmental agencies. And this is I'm blaming Cuomo for being full of shit. Oh, God. Now, I'll be honest, I don't like Cuomo. And he jumped all over Trump about the ventilators, and I don't particularly like that. I don't think that's the way that you go about doing things. Exactly. And it's a smaller area that they contained it, well, not right away, but they contained it fairly well once they did contain it. There is none of this bullshit like you see even in Thailand where people are walking around. I got a picture from Pattaya. I saw a picture from Pattaya from somebody I know. And you got people walking through, there's like jean shops open and they're selling knickknacks and all kinds of products like that. I understand you got to make money. Your business is at risk. But guess what? It's a matter of, okay, I'm going to stay in business until I die. Okay, but it's not only you. That's the thing. It's not only the people who are doing the selling. Yeah, well, I think South Korea was much better organized and had their shit together much better than Italy, obviously. Some 2 years ago, I blame the federal government. I blame everybody. Yeah, exactly. I blame them all. I blame all of them. But I blame the CCP. I blame the commies. That's who I blame. Commie bastards. And all those who follow them because they willingly follow them. Now, let me see here. The tactic which requires ties abroad to have to seek a medical certificate is an intentional act in preventing ties from returning home. Opposition politician Chaturan Chaisang wrote it's inhumane and unconstitutional, but the government doesn't care. Now, I don't know that that's exactly, I wouldn't say that. I don't think they're intentionally doing that. I think they're saying we don't want people coming in who are sick, whether you're Thai or any other nationality. Um, but regardless. Now, the other day, just before they declared the emergency here, I went out to Suan Phuc, which is the park down the street from my house. And I did shoot some video, and Alex is supposed to get all the video edited, but he's been very busy with school and everything, and he didn't finish editing it. But this was just before the state of emergency, and I went out wearing a mask, and I didn't touch anybody, didn't come close to anybody. That park is now closed, as are all of the other local parks in our area. They're all closed. And while there are signs that an increasing number of people are wearing masks here in Thailand, I think that here and around the world, a huge number of people don't grasp the severity of this situation and just how contagious this is. Yes, a lot of people may get it and they might be fine. They'll get through it. They develop an immunity. But some people, it is recurring in. Now, fortunately, the ladies across the street at the noodle shop on my block, there's 3 noodle shops right across the street from my house. There's a duck noodle shop, there's a chicken noodle shop, and then there is a pork noodle shop. They've all started to wear masks. They're not wearing gloves, and a lot of the customers that come in are not wearing masks. And I spoke to Jono yesterday. Now, Jono has told me he's having all kinds of erratic sleep. His sleep pattern is quite erratic, which I understand. There's sometimes I'm asleep by 7 o'clock and I'm up at 1 o'clock. I can't go back to sleep. This staying inside in the cave is affecting my sleep. But anyway, that's irregardless. He told me that he went out yesterday and or day before yesterday, and he had to go and get some food and some money. He needed money to pay his rent or whatever. So he went out, and he said he walked by a vendor. The lady didn't have a mask on. She's coughing all over her food. And that's just one tiny example. That's one place, one person. Like I said, it's going to you better hang on for the ride because it's going to get worse before it gets better. Now, I have to say that today we have a delivery coming from, I'm seeing a lot of people wearing masks here on motorcycles. But what I wonder is, why are they out? Are they going to get food? Are they going to work somewhere? I don't understand it, because it sure seems to me that the number of people going in and out of my village are about the same. A little bit less maybe, but very close to the usual number. And what are they doing? What are they doing? Now, I understand, I'm going to sell my jeans, I'm going to sell this, I'm going to sell that. Yeah, okay, great. It's non-essential. If you're selling film for your phone, the protective film, you're selling one of these little things. What do you call it? The phone case. This is not essential. You can do without it. It has not even begun to peak here. That's my own opinion. I'm not saying that's fact. But I think we've only just begun, like I keep saying. Down here in the sticks, no helmets. People here in Seattle are still grouping and hanging out. That's what I mean. Okay, so hang out. Go ahead. Do your thing. I understand. Maybe you'll get, this is the thing. Maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe you won't get it. Maybe you won't get sick. Or maybe you will get it, and maybe you'll pass it on to somebody else. This is what is so dangerous. These people hanging out. It's just like the people that were on the beach in Florida. They're hanging out, having a good time. Yeah, I want to party. Okay. Now, they go back to the room. They go back to the room. A couple people go back. Hey, let's go drinking. It's 3 in the morning. I know, because I used to do this stuff. You go back. You got 10 people in the room. They go out and they're drinking. They go out. They got their beer. They got their whiskey. Whatever they're drinking, tequila. They go back to the room, and then Joe says, "Hey, this chick over here, me and her are gonna go back to the room." They go back and have at it. They don't even know each other. They've been infected by people around them that they don't even know they have it. Then they go back, they knock one out, they're making out, swap and spit, boom. 2 more people get it. They go back home. Oh yeah, mom, had a great time. Then the mother goes and sees the grandmother. She gets it. She passes on to grandma. Next thing you know, it's all over the place. It's freaking wildfire, man. And I don't want to sound like an alarmist at all. I just like to be real. And I've heard from several people, oh, this is no worse than the flu. You never hear about, okay, we'll see. Watch, in a 3-year period, if they don't develop a vaccine. They haven't developed a vaccine for some of these other things that are going on, these other diseases. What makes you think they're going to develop a disease for this? Yeah, New York is in deep shit, and I think it's going to get worse. Bangkok, yeah. Well, the whole "it's not me, it doesn't apply to me" comes from what I was just saying this morning to someone, is that if it was, the Germans in World War II or the Japanese or something, and you see them marching down the street and they told everybody to be inside, and if you're out on the street, you're going to get shot, people be inside. They wouldn't be standing outside. But here, because it's this silent, unseen, it's like playing Russian roulette. It's a silent, unseen killer. It's like, it's not going to happen to me. It's just like you're young. You're invincible. Yeah, you're invincible until you realize that a hammer hitting you side the head still is going to hurt, and it might crack your skull open and you might die. It's like I said a long time ago, it's just like the Prel commercial where they had the girl on the screen, and then it split into 2, and then it split into 4, and 8, and 16, and it just kept going and going and going and going. Sometimes I see news complaining about holding hands, groups of 5 close together. Maybe it's a family or couple under one roof. They don't need social distancing. Well, I mean, here in my house, we know what we're doing. We know if we are going anywhere. We know when we're in contact. If somebody has gone outside here, like my kids have only gone in front of the house. They're not talking to anybody, not touching anything except the gate. They come in, they wash their hands, they take a shower, Yeah, they told 2 friends and so on and so on and so on, yeah. Part of the problem is being able to pay bills and support hourly. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that is part of the problem. Defying the government to restrict you. Trying to control outside activity. Once they do the ordeal, debt will need to be paid. No, the streets are not empty. There is less traffic on the whole, but there's still a lot of people out and a lot of people that just they don't get it. Here in Thailand, you can get everything delivered if you want. You can get pizza delivered, like anywhere else. You can get sushi, McDonald's, 7-Eleven delivers. You can get all kind of things delivered. So that's a good thing. And then you deal with the guy. You don't touch his hands. And anything you touch, you don't touch your face. You grab your stuff. You dump it all out or whatever. You throw everything away. You wash your hands. And you get on with it. Um, so yeah, like I said, I saw this photo in Pattaya. They're selling clothing and souvenirs and fair amount of what looked to be window shopping. I just, I think that it takes a while for people to really. Somebody next to them has to get sick and almost die or die for in order for them to. It said that to not overwhelm the mass. What? Oh, I don't know. I don't have time to look at the soy dog. What happened to my doodad here? Oh, okay. Yeah, in Spain, they've resorted to putting their dead in an ice rink. In New York, refrigerated truck trailers. This is not a good situation. Everything delivered as well. Much of vloggers thinks cost will saddle youngsters questioning it. Is it necessary? Okay, well, I tell you what. I don't have a problem if somebody wants to go out, let them go out. If they get it, they get it. Then they're responsible for it. Don't make the state pay for it. Well, yeah, that's the thing. When we stay inside, and I say we, all those who decide I'm going to self isolate, I'm going to shelter at home, I'm going to do whatever you say, I'm not going to go out. Those people who go out, that don't have to go out, and they just go, oh, well, no big deal. They're the ones who put other people at risk. And, my mother had to go and get a prescription filled. She goes into a place. She decides, hey, listen, I'm right next to the butcher. I'm gonna get some food from the butcher, but they have some guidelines. It says in a big sign, stay away. Stay this far away, please. This is how we'll do it. We'll put the stuff out. Then you can grab it, but stay away. Don't get close. And she said there were people there just lollygagging around, getting within, like getting right next to people and trying to make sure that they heard them. And they're on their phones and walking wherever they wanted and not, they're going inside the little lines where they're not supposed to be going, like it was nothing. They just don't care. And so as long as people don't care, and there's always going to be people that don't care, this is going to keep happening. I think personally they're already up to 600, almost 700,000 cases. Let me see what it is if I can refresh it now. 663, 470, almost 31,000 deaths. Oh, yeah, it hasn't. They haven't updated it. It looks like. It looks like they're. Yeah, they have. I don't know why they haven't updated it yet, but maybe. Let's see here. I mean, on the graph, things are still going straight up. 123,000, almost 124,000 cases in the United States alone. I'm going to say this is going to take off to where millions and millions are infected. And if you just take out let's say 1% of several million, a lot of people are going to die. And I don't think that until they get a vaccine, I think people are just going to keep dying. Some won't lose their business house if they can't make them work. Yeah, that's the thing. Some are going to be okay. Some their house is already paid off. You know what I mean? Like, so, this is what I've been saying to myself is, do you have all the food and water you need? Do you have a roof over your head? Is there any medicine that you need? And are you alive? Yes. Okay. Then you're okay. And there's not all that many reasons to go outside. I need some fresh air. Okay, well then go on your front door or go on your balcony or whatever, something like that. Seven, the thing is that until it's stabilized, 14 days is the minimum that you should stay in. Once they get a little bit under control and enough people have been taken care of and they've been tested, and I think that once it stabilizes, then okay, they can start going out and maybe they'll get lucky and they will be fine. Maybe they're gonna. Who knows what's going to happen? I don't know. And I think the elderly are still going to be at risk unless they get some kind of a treatment. And right now they don't have it, and it's a good year to 2 years away at least. Do I have enough toilet paper? I don't really have any toilet paper. We have like 5 or 6 things of tissue paper, and we also have about 6 I don't know, is it 6 or 8 or 10 rolls of paper towels coming today. Other than that, we don't need it. We don't need it for the reasons that people in the West need toilet paper. So there's plenty of toilet paper on the shelves. You know, that's the beauty of having the bum gun. Get yourself a bum gun in the United States. You'll never have to worry about toilet paper again. All right, let me look at some. There's a few things here that I wanted to go over. Let's see here. A Thai chef in New York City has died from the virus. Of course, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson tested positive. When one of these world leaders dies from the virus, I think maybe then people will take notice, but I kind of doubt it. I don't know. Yeah, this is 4 Chinese tourists were arrested. They were in quarantine and they broke their quarantine. This was, what's today? 28th? 29th. This day before yesterday. Yeah, they were supposed to be in their accommodation and they left without notifying authorities. Yeah, they went, and 2 of them were like, "Oh, we went over to a friend's house." Yeah, okay. So now they spent the night in jail. Herd immunity, so that the system isn't overwhelmed. The strategy seems to be that. Yeah, I've heard about this. Yeah, Chinese not following the rules in Thailand, in Phuket. Imagine that. Well, you know, listen, you got to do what you got to do. If it gets that bad, seriously, if it gets so bad that you got to go out and use the garden hose to spray your ass clean, you got to do what you got to do. You know, they're isolated in jail now, or they were for the night. I don't know what's going to happen to them. Well, if found guilty, they face up to 1 year in prison and a 100,000 baht fine under the Communicable Diseases Act. On Tuesday, a man was also arrested in Krabi after fleeing a coronavirus ward in the hospital in a bid to return to his home in another province. Now, I was wondering about the guys who I used to work with, the fighters that I used to work with, and I still follow them and talk to them once in a while. And one of the guys, there's a couple of brothers, one of them was like, "Hey, I need to get home. I'm going to have to cross borders. I don't know if I can do that." So these are the kind of problems that are happening, but I think if he's going to do it, he better do it soon. sooner than later. So we're going to see what's happening very shortly. I mean, time will tell. And we're going to look back at this in a few years, those of us who make it through, and I think the majority of us will. I still think the majority of people are going to be okay, but I do think that the people who are going around and they're just, willy-nilly kind of doing what they want and hanging out and yeah, man, let's go to the bar, man. Hey, let's go see some chicks, man. And you don't know where they are, where they've come from, what they've been doing. It's kind of like, hey, I don't know where you put your hands. I don't know where your mouth has been. Listen, I once you go to the bum gun, you never go back. Toilet paper is for savages, and listen, I know that a lot of people in the United States still do it, but at least use a wet wipe. Yeah, for all the people who say that the flights are, the prices are great, man. You can get from New York to Johannesburg, South Africa for $50. No, you can't. That's rubbish. Because I've looked at some flights and it's quite expensive to get around. And not to mention the hassle that you're going to go through flying and trying to get into the country, trying to get out of the country. This shit, I don't want to go out of the country for another year. Let's see. I might as well put that down. And it seems so long ago that I was in Hong Kong, traveling back and forth, running back and forth, trying to get back, trying to get things done. All that's on hold. November's a bit far away. It's a bit far off. Who knows, Soy Dog? This could be the norm for quite some time. It could be, you can't get in unless you show us proof that you are free of the virus. I mean, I don't know. This is a game changer, though. But talk to some people who have been through things like this before. Some older people that they know what this kind of what this can do to people and to a country. It's bad enough if it happens to somebody, but somebody that's near you, somebody that good luck with that. President Biden, yeah. Please don't make me laugh. Does he even know his own name? Does President Biden know his own name? To me, that sounds like Elizabeth Warren. When I'm president, honey, you ain't ever gonna be president. Wishful thinking. That's like saying, when I am in the Indy 500, I'm gonna show you guys one that I am one hell of a driver. Honey, you ain't never gonna make it to the Indy 500. I could beat Mike Tyson. I'm gonna get in the ring with him and beat his ass. No, you're not, because you couldn't beat the young amateur who has 25 fights. You probably couldn't beat his ass. So how are you gonna beat? You know what I mean? Like, it's so ridiculous. President Clinton, she's coming back. And did you see where she made a joke about America first? She just made a joke about it. Is it still up on Instagram? I don't know. She's an idiot. She's an idiot. This is the thing. Why would you want to? I mean, it's bad enough being on YouTube. Why the hell would you want? Why the hell would you want to be president? Oh, I love this. The first thing I see. Maybe now Americans will realize we can make it without celebrities in pro sports, but we can't make it without farmers and ranchers. What was I looking for? Oh. What is this? $50 center. I got the 50 center. Oh yeah, I got the 50 center following me now. Oof. Sorry, bye. Bye, honey. You're gone. All right, where are we at? I got Hillary Clinton bites the real Hillary, the real Hillary Clinton. No, that's not it. Let's see here. Oh man. Okay, here we go. Doting grandmother, among other things. Honey, just stay as a grandmother. It looks like she deleted it. Why is it that everybody always takes pictures of themselves, or often takes pictures of themselves when they're so much younger? You always see pictures where they're younger. Or if they're older, you only see their face or something like that. Why is it, I mean, like, listen, have you ever seen her in a pantsuit? Ugh, honey, I understand you're a grandma. That's fine. Stay a grandma. You don't need to be out in the public eye. People are going to bash you just for being Hillary. Be cool if everyone just states where they are watching from. I'm in Songkla. Yeah, that would be cool. I am in Bangkok, Thailand, and I am an American, a proud American in in Bangkok. Alpharetta Jim, he's in Alpharetta, Georgia. Mr. Mitch is in Seattle. Longhorns is in, I don't know, Texas somewhere. I think, what was the name of it? I can't remember the name of the place where he is. There's a couple people in here, I think, from Massachusetts or Connecticut or some of those places on the East Coast. New York, us. Richard Cook, he's in Texas. The owner of the Knicks, wow, he's James Dolan. Positive. I should have been watching ESPN. I haven't been watching ESPN. Yeah. Test positive. He's 64. Jono, if you're listening, he's probably asleep. Probably woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Now he's asleep. An Irishman. Hey, I'm Niall, and I am an Irishman in Bangkok. Yakima, Joe Hip. Thank you, Sky Trooper, very much. You are the first. You're in South Dakota, man. Wow, you're in one of the safe zones. Fairly safe. Yakima, man. Joe Hip. I don't know if you know who he is, Justin, but I know who he is. I was talking about him the other day. I met him in China, of all places. He was with, what was the guy's name? Chauncey Welliver, this hangover, heavyweight. Boston. I'm in Boston. And you know who comes from Boston? Mark Wahlberg comes from Boston. So does Bill Burr. That's my shitty, Yeah, he was one hell of a fighter, man. Tough dude. Really tough dude. But a lot more skilled than people gave him credit for. His knees are bad now, but he's a nice guy. I mean, he didn't talk a whole lot, but he was a nice guy. He was nice to me. And I think his guy won the fight, too, so. Oh yeah, Paul Revere. Thank you, Tom. Coffee shop money for whatever that luxury, whenever that luxury is available again. I'll tell you what, did I, oh shit, did I buy coffee? I don't think I did. Son of a bitch. It's too late for me to make a change now. They won't let you, or will they? We have to count. Yeah, yeah, you may lose. Sorry, I'm not adding that. Uh, Rocky Marciano, the greatest heavyweight in the whole world. Got me out of work, Jim. Though I was late for returning government, I told them I just got out of Slammer, so they gave me another week. The Departed. If you all don't know what you're talking about, oh Hagler, man, he was awesome. Hagler sent me an autographed photo of him. I asked him for one, and he mailed me a photograph of him. I don't know what happened to it now, but let me see. What was I looking for? Oh, my little Happy Fresh order. All right, so Happy Fresh now. I've amended my order. I've got some soybean oil coming. We already have like 4 bottles, but I want to just stock up on it because eventually we'll use it up. And we use the wok to cook a lot of things. We got some Prego Campbell's cheese and herb sauce. We got Scott tissue towels. We got some 2 cans of tomato paste. Greatest round ever. Great fight, Hagler versus Hearn. Another great fight if you want to look it up. Fantastic fight, Michael Dokes, Evander Holyfield. I wrote a paper for college about that fight. The Ozark. That's a good move, a good show. Ozarks. I haven't. It's the problem with Netflix and like F is for Family and Ray Donovan. They did it with that. They put so much time in between updating their seasons that you forget what's going on. That's what happened with Homeland. I was watching the first couple seasons of Homeland. After about the 4th to 5th season, I was like, Jesus Christ. It's like, get it together. It's like, get the things done a little bit faster, man. Give us a little something. I got some bacon. I've got some butter. I've got some bread. I've got some beef back chuck. I've got some chicken. I've got some sliced cheese. I've got some big chunk of Ember cheddar cheese. Got some dishwashing soap. Got some 3 things of sandwich meat, 2 things of linguine, and some chicken, and all that comes to that's about $60, $58, something like that. So that's what I've got that coming. I'm very excited about that. It'll be coming in about 3 hours. I don't know. I like the Ray Donovan, although watching Ray Donovan decline in the last couple of years was a little difficult. The Homeland, it just went to shit after about the 4th season. I was like, what the fuck am I watching here? It's too crazy. She's always involved in this drama. Probably do the same by the 3rd season. It's a great show, though. Yeah, I mean, it was good when I remember watching it. I want to watch it, but now I'm going to have to go back and watch the last couple episodes of the 2nd season. I know a lot of people don't like this show, but I love it. It's Trailer Park Boys. I love it just because it's so ludicrous that it gives me something to watch. It's the go-to. It's one of the go-tos. That, Ray Donovan, Sopranos, An Idiot Abroad. Now I've got Kung Fu with David Carradine. So I can binge watch that. I've got 3 seasons of that. So that might be interesting. When you are ready to grab when you can grab the stone from my hand, you are ready to leave. Let's see here. I'm going to look at that other article. Now, I was reading an article about written by a Thai guy who was in Germany, Frankfurt to be exact, and he had to come back to Bangkok, and he saw a bunch of people being turned away because they didn't have their health certificates and fit-to-fly permits. He said he met a guy that was 18 years old from Chonburi, couldn't speak English or German, so this guy had to help him. Oh, wow, there's people in their hazmat suits. And he had to translate and do everything and try to help this guy before he left. And there were all kinds of Thais just sitting there. Here's, the one guy sitting there, and then a girl, no mask on. And they just have a hard time believing that they can't get back into the country. This one girl says, "Why can't Thais return to Thailand? I don't understand." Whale Dao, who is from Lui province, asked me. "Prayut should resign," Tanakorn said after I identified myself as a reporter to him and asked if he has any message to convey. Whale Dao got to board the plane at the last minute after her German boyfriend was able to obtain the Thai embassy permit and showed it to the airline staff. Some 20 Chinese and Taiwanese passengers clad in spacesuit-like outfits were also turned away from the same flight because they had no coronavirus test certificate and hefty medical insurance as required for foreigners entering Thailand. The order came into effect Sunday, about 3 days after it was issued. Now, when they say hefty insurance, it's about $200, $150 to $200 to get a 3-month insurance policy, travel insurance policy for $100,000. So, it's nothing to sneeze at. Has anyone else watched Call of the Wild? Into CGI orgy of... No, I have not watched that, and I probably... Although I like Call of the Wild and Jack London, I probably will not watch it if it's a CGI orgy of virtual signaling dogs. That's not going to happen. As an American in Bangkok, will you get any of the Trump hump fund? I don't know. Time will tell. I hope so. I thought the master said when you could take the pill, it will be time to... Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah. I was paraphrasing. I can't... my mind doesn't stay full of these irrelevant quotes. All right. As a result, 2020, there were only... this guy's flight only had 20 passengers on a plane that could accommodate over 500. A flight attendant told me the return to Frankfurt was fully booked, however, as Europeans are scrambling to return home before a possible continental lockdown. Soldiers deployed. 10 hours later, the plane landed on Monday afternoon local time. I walked a dozen steps off the plane and was greeted by a locked glass door with 3 airport staff asking for papers. "Show me the papers." I presented my papers and asked the staff member what will happen if one doesn't have the required papers. She said the passenger will not be allowed to enter through the locked door. I asked how a Thai national can be refused entry into his own or her own country. The official said she doesn't know. This is all she had been instructed to do. Section 39 of the Thai Constitution explicitly outlaws any attempt to bar Thai citizens from returning to their homeland. Interesting. I'll be watching that to see what happens. I can't watch Star Trek. I watched the very first Star Trek in the 60s when I was a little kid, and the 70s. I used to watch Star Trek, and I never got into the follow-ups. I couldn't do it. Just like Star Wars. I watched the original Star Wars. The Star Wars. That's what I watched. I didn't watch all the other, ones. I may have to get into The Office. I never really got into that. Nicholas has been watching Barry, which has one of the guys from The Office in it. I can't keep up with all this shit. I gotta stay awake. I gotta be able to stay awake and be interested. Because what happens now is I start watching a movie, I start watching if it's boring, I fall asleep. Now, last night we watched Sling Blade with Billy Bob Thornton. Written and directed by Billy Bob Thornton. It's a bit slow, but there is a story and it does build up. But man, Billy Bob Thornton was fantastic in that movie. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I can't get into the whole Star Wars thing. Yeah, that was a good movie. Very good movie. Let me check out here what we got here. Mega list for travel disruptions. Excuse me. Here's the thing. Police and soldiers will set up checkpoints at provincial borders to see whether measures are followed. Now, I gotta say, my wife said she's been told by numerous people that the police and soldiers are basically sitting around doing nothing. Now, that wouldn't surprise me. They're just sitting around. They're not stopping everybody. They're not one right after another stopping people. That's what she was told by several of her friends. In Bangkok, 7 checkpoints were set up on the edges of Bangkok's provincial border on Changwatana, Suintawong Road, Soi, Kanchanaburi, Sukhumvit, Ratchapruk, Suksuat, and Soi Rama 292. Thai sea, land, and air borders are also closed to all foreigners except goods, transportation, yada, yada, yada. Thais returning to the kingdom are required to present a certificate from Thai embassy and health certificate. Now, the air borders, the air borders are not closed to foreigners. It's a matter of being able to find a ticket. But many of the airlines have grounded their fleets. Some really good shows the last two. Breaking Bad. Yeah, Breaking Bad was good. Very good. I was addicted to Breaking Bad. I'm in Chiang Mai. Indoors, I'm not going anywhere. Not for a long time, it seems. Well, that's a good thing, I guess. The one thing I will say is that if you want to look around, there are things you can do on the inside. And I'm not talking about just sitting on the computer. You can sit on the computer. I already watched it. You can sit on the computer. You can play video games. You can read the news. You can watch YouTube videos. You can watch Netflix. You can do all kinds of things online. But there's also a lot of things you can do offline. I mean, I've basically cleaned up my our room here, our bedroom and my office. Yeah, that's a pretty good one there. 50 jumping jacks, 10 burpees, some push-ups maybe throw in there, some leg lifts. I've got a stack of books over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books. And I'm not reading all of them, but with any luck, I'll get it all done. I'll read them all. And I've read most of them already, but... Well, I'll tell you one thing that I don't particularly like about the United States is it's like you go into the hospital and you get tested for a. I'd like to know from Soy Dog Cowboy, if you go in and you get tested, how much is it if you're not covered by insurance? Better Call Saul, excellent. Just watched the last episode, the most recent episode on Friday. I'd be done forever. You know, one thing I really miss, there's two things actually. Well, there's more than two. That's lovely, Beyond Trinity. You keep those, you keep them to yourself. Keep them in your freezer. 250 bucks. Now, that's not too bad for the United States. Although, what about the people who don't have the money to pay for it? You know, there's people that are homeless and that kind of thing. What happens to them? You know, I would think that here's the thing. If the government wants to do something for the people in an emergency situation like this is the last people, this is the last thing that they should have to worry about. Do I have to pay to get tested to find out if I have this? I saw one where a guy got a bill, an athlete, a pro athlete got a bill for $9,000. So, it's ridiculous. And apparently the test that they've been using only cost about $45. I don't know if anybody saw, but in Spain, 70% of the tests that they received from China were faulty. And the Chinese tried blaming the Spanish, like always, the Chinese government, the Chinese company tried blaming the Spanish. It's you! No, it's not you. It's the Chinese. It's that company. They were the ones at fault. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. That's the thing with, the exercise. I mean, and I know this, and, listen, I admit it, I just don't have the pep that I used to have even 2 years ago. That last surgery kicked my ass, and it took me a while to realize that, but, it's not I'm getting old now. I'm elderly. I'm a senior. And that doesn't mean that I can't stay healthy. Although it's a little harder inside the house, but there are ways to do it. If you what does that tell you? Yeah, exactly. You have to pay a lot. Yeah, I mean I think we're okay. Could be better, but that's about it. Yeah, I'm a puppy. What? Deadly strain of Italian COVID virus poised to overrun Thailand. Here's the thing. If there's an Italian COVID, guess where it came from? The CCP! Gee, you think? And that's the way I'm going to keep it. If any of the 50 centers come in, and I think I had a fair amount of them in a couple months ago. So, the end of the day, what are you going to do? All you can do is take care of yourself. And this is the thing. One thing that I've heard from a few people who I trust what they say, and that is take care of yourself. Don't expect other people to take care of you. Don't expect other governments to take care of you, or a government or other governments or whatever. I don't expect the Thai government to take care of me. Yeah, I mean, it is a business, and that is something that needs to be investigated and looked into deeper, because we understand you got to make money, and hospitals, they cost big money, but even here in Thailand, I mean, I've complained about the hospitals here, and while at the end of the day I'm still alive, and I don't owe any hospital money. Uh, I think that some of them are dubious at best. Oh, I'm stuck here. What am I going to do? There's nothing I can do. Well, why can't you go back? Niall, I'm curious to know. Can't you fly back? What's the deal with getting into Ireland? We're not. There is no Doctor Pooh time in the stream here. We don't need to know about that. I really don't feel like poo is the best topic of conversation. Because of COVID, a baby boom is expected. Quarantines. About upon the mask and send it all back to China. Well, listen. Don't buy those masks then. And this is the problem. We have become, and not only us, but us, I say, the United States, uh, has been far too reliant on uh, China. Um, Maybe we'll learn our lesson after this. Maybe other countries will learn their lesson after this. Can't you fly out, Niall? I'm wondering that, because I know you can leave, but it's hard to get back in. Now, what is this? Here we go. Thai expats urge cooperation. Discipline and a sense of social responsibility, as well as proper assistance from the government. Okay. Siwatra Sinpasatudon. Wait. Sinpasatadon 42 said that in Beijing, while there is no ban on going outside like in Wuhan, people have been voluntarily limiting their travel to essential trips only. Now, this is yesterday, this article in the Bangkok Post. Most of the people in Beijing had experience of SARS 17 years ago, so they know what to do. Once they learned of an infection, everybody wore masks, face masks straight away before the official announcement was made. To begin with, the city was so quiet you could lie down in the middle of the road safely for 10 minutes. Chinese are very obedient, and very few would dare to violate rules put in place by the government or local authorities. I wonder why. We may have our so-called Thai style of doing what we want, but during a crisis, there's no room for compromise. Thais often think there's leeway with all rules. For example, if we're suffering from a temperature but still feel okay, we might be tempted to go outside. However, doctors have been very clear that this means we may be infected or our immune systems might be weak, so we should stay inside. Yeah, that goes without saying. I haven't tried booking my ticket yet, to be fair. I'm scheduled to leave on my 10th. You should put waited out. That does suck. I believe you can't. I believe you cannot get visas to enter Cambodia. Currently, foreigners can't. Whatever happened to that guy and the lady who were stuck in Cambodia? I'd like to know. Let's see if there's been any update on that. Yeah, couple in limbo. Yeah, Ryan Knapp. The guy's name is Ryan Knapp. Yeah, can't find any update on him. Let's see. Shit. Yeah, it just says they're in. It says they're in limbo, and there hasn't been an update since March 16th. I'd be interested in knowing what's going on with them. Wonder if Apple will bring manufacturing on account of. Yeah, Americans won't pay 40% more for iPhones or 80% for Walmart merch. Well, I agree with that. However, if Apple wants to continue selling, they're going to have to make some concessions. And if they don't, then they're just going to lose the market share. They're going to lose more of the market share than they already have to, say, Samsung and some other companies. Now, what I'm wondering is, what is the update with the? Let me see here. Thai visa situation. Let's see here. What's today? The 29th? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's see here. Wow. Thai, I did not know about this. Military conscription has been suspended for 3 months. Well, that's a good thing. But, what is this? Let's see the solution here. I see something that says there's a solution to this problem. Yeah, from what I've seen in Pattaya, it's not completely shut down, and I I think they're making a mistake. That's just my opinion. It's an opinion. Okay, what is this? This is more than a week ago. So pushed by them is now revealed the dimension was Shiva extensions for. Well, I don't know if this is before or after they started taking the 500 baht from people per day for being overstayed. Yeah, they need a letter from the embassy, but what is this here? Yeah, it's still very unclear about what's going on for people that are leaving the country. Uh, strings to bring back manufacturing, blah, 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 blah. Delay in management challenge. It's shut down now. Yeah, I mean, I know it's the bars are shut down, but I just got a photo this morning. I saw a photo this morning, and it was current. And there's people walking around shopping and, buying clothes and souvenirs and that kind of thing. And that's not going to make things better. It's going to make things worse. But then, maybe I'm an alarmist. Maybe, I don't know what I'm talking about. But I have, one thing that being home has afforded me is time to look into everything. I don't know why they're not updating this page. Maybe that's coming later. Maybe they don't have the numbers yet. I don't know. Well, maybe it's because it's a Sunday here, Saturday there. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's a weekend. Another record rise. This is last week, and it says another record rise in infections on Monday as top virologist predicts widespread transmission in Thailand. Yeah, okay. Excuse me. March 16th, 147 was the number. Now they're up to, what is it, 1,400, 1,200, 1,245. Where was that? Quarantino would be a good name for a little bit of hot events. I can't only go. Does anybody believe the Chinese numbers? I don't. Yeah, I don't believe the numbers, Bruce. I can tell you that Happy Land, much of Happy Land Center, is open. Now, I don't know why it's open. There's a sushi place. There's a food court. There are some food places around there. But inside, most of the people, they're selling clothes. They're not shut down. They're still open. They're still doing what they got to do. Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm talking about, Niall. I don't understand how it is. My wife is working at home now. She's been working. She worked at home all last week, and yeah, good thing. No, there's too much proof they're live. If you pay me off like they don't believe anything. Yeah, I don't believe shit that comes. Listen, I gotta, obviously I have a real hard on for the CCP, and I want to make that clear again. And it's like saying, you love Chinese people, but you hate their government. I'm not going to say I love Chinese people. There are some very good Chinese people out there, and I met a hell of a lot of them in Hong Kong, but they are much different than the mainlanders, and certainly different. Most of them are quite a bit different than the CCP. They feel quite strongly and have quite negative opinions about the CCP. Like I said, I was in the park down the street last Tuesday. That park is closed now. And there were very, very few people there. I don't underestimate other people's stupidity. And it's not that I think I'm so much smarter than other people, but I just think like I've said for quite some time, I look at risk reward and calculated risk. If I got to go out and get food because we're low on food or we really need something to be able to use the food we have, That's a little bit different than me going out because I want to go paitio. You know, I want to go check everything out, man. Go party with my friends. It would be very easy for me to jump on a boat, and they still are. The boat taxis are still working, and go over to say go to Jono's house. But for what? You know what I mean? Like bum gun rocks. Well, that kind of came out of the blue. Ugh. Yeah, but you're a little younger, so you do have that going for you, Niall. But you know the thing with this is you never know, and I've heard this from some reliable source, some very reliable medical sources uh, that have said the thing about this is we just don't know. People are like, oh yeah, once you get it, you're immune. Oh, what about the people who it's been recurring in? It's happened to them. They've caught it again. What about the athletes who are extreme athletes? I'm talking about they are more fit than the average 99.9% of the people in the world, and they get it. Yeah, but they're not out there to help the world, Longhorns. They only give a shit about themselves. Yeah, there's like 2,050 people have died so far. Um, what's the number here? 2,227. Oh my God. That's terrible, man. Really. Over 10,000 dead in Italy. Now, here's the thing. That may sound like a small percentage, and initially I said, listen, I bought into what a lot of people said, which it's only a little bit. I don't think you are immune after the first time. I don't think that you are necessarily immune. I think there is a chance you can become reinfected, depending. I don't know on what it depends on, but I've heard that some people have been reinfected. Who died? Let's see here. What is this here? Yeah, if you look, wow, that's incredible how it's increased. In 2 weeks, 2 weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, there were 114 cases, active cases in Thailand. Now there's 1,245. So that's a hell of an increase. This is recoveries, and the deaths are fairly small, obviously. They're not going up yet. Hopefully they won't. The good thing is that for Thailand is it's a relatively it should be relatively easy to manage here. It's a country that is not massive like, say, China or the African continent or the United States. I sure hope that those are good signs. Uh, Boris. Boris is a fatty too. Oh God. Let me see something here. What the fuck? What's going on here? Oh, is this the one? Oh shit. Let me see. I better shut the sound off on this. All right, it's off. Good. Yeah, I mean, I have 40 strands. Oh, yeah. I think we should test the theory by infecting Lawrence again if he's correct. If he doesn't, no more. I try to listen to that John Campbell as much as possible. I look at a couple other sites and channels. I think at the end of the day, though, the way that you stay away from it for now is you stay inside. Ugh. Don't start, Bruce. All right, what was I looking at? You guys made me. I lose my train of thought here, and then what? I'm not sure why this is not up. Wait, let me see here. Ah, somebody else just died. One more person. South Korea is starting to see a few more people again. But this is pretty limited. What? Who's a sicko? Wait a minute. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. All right, so I think we all understand here. We understand just how serious this could be. I think for now, if you're going to go out, at the very least, if you're going to go out, wear a mask. Don't hang out with groups of people. Wash your hands. Get some hand cleaner. Use some soap and water. I'm not talking about after you take a dump. I'm talking about, you go and you grab some groceries. All right, you put the groceries down. You dump them all out. You throw the bag out. You don't touch your face. You wash your hands really, really well. You spray any places down that might be infected. You got to take the steps to don't mention the C word. Took an hour to calm down last word. You were saying why? Oh yeah. So I'm gonna ignore that beyond Trinity. That's why it mutates so fast and so often. Oh. 20 seconds, yes. 20 seconds, 20 seconds. If you don't have soap, make sure you buy it. And don't be one of these nasty, grubby bastards who doesn't wash your hair for, 6 months so you can have dreadlocks. Wash up. Don't be stinky. The one good thing that you can do is on your phone. Like here in Thailand, they have the QR codes so that if you got money in a Thai account, you just open your bank account on your phone. You don't have to touch anybody. You bring up the QR code. They scan it. Boom, done. Mohammed, I think you need to get real. Seriously, I think you need to scour the internet for a little more information because it's not only 91-year-olds, it's 22-year-olds, it's teenagers. The vast majority tend to be more compromised individuals with compromised immune systems who are at a greater risk. They are at a greater risk because of this. But it doesn't really matter. There are some younger people who are getting ill, dying. I forget who it was the other day. They said, yeah, my brother or somebody is 600 killed 80,000 Americans. It's true. Unfortunately, the app My Bank wasn't work half the time, but it's a very good point. Yeah, I mean, like I can tell you that I know that they work on mine. I've used them several times. I don't usually because I usually just use my card, but I don't want them touching my card now. I'm like, just scan it. So like when I get my groceries, um, from Happy Fresh, let me see something here. How can you do this here? They haven't even started shopping yet. When I get my groceries from Happy Fresh, I've already got the card. I've got the card in here. Now I don't like that because they got my information. They know where I am. Yada yada yada. But in this case, I like it because I don't have to even touch the guy. I don't have to sign anything. I don't have to do a thing. I just go, hey, it's paid. Put the stuff down on the ground. I'll pick it up, bring it in. We take everything we take everything out of the bag. Like I said a few minutes ago, wash my hands, you know, and it's as simple as that. You don't have to, you don't have to be rubbing a guy's back or anything. I think it's very little. I mean, if they got the coronavirus and then died, I think the chances of them like, well, I'm getting ready to die. I'm going to die in a couple of days, and the coronavirus just made me die in a day. I don't think that kind of thing is happening, you know? Yeah, that's the other thing. If you're going to take anything, you take aspirin. This is in its infancy. It's supposed to be 3 milligrams. News said it's 10 times deadlier, but it's way more. I will agree with you about, I don't know about the exact numbers and everything. I know it is more contagious. It is more deadly. But I agree 100% that this is only just begun. It's in its infancy. It's going to get worse. And I'll be honest, right now, I haven't gotten all that worried because I don't want to let myself. But there is a part of me that is like, well, what if this isn't over in May or June? What if you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel in June? What if China is lying? What if South Korea is an anomaly? And what happens if they continue to show increasing number of people that are being infected and dying? What if? What if? It's the fear of the unknown. So, well, that was like a week or two ago where it was shown that type A, uh, people with type A are at a greater risk. Um, Let me see something here. I don't believe that aspirin, paracetamol is an anti-inflammatory. But I could be wrong. I'm looking. Yeah, I don't believe that that's true. Um, so, paracetamol is? Let's see here. Paracetamol has relatively little anti-inflammatory activity, unlike other common analgesics such as non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Aspirin and ibuprofen, but ibuprofen and paracetamol have similar effects in treatment of a headache. Let me see here. Some of this one is way more serious than the flu. One thing from my baby, critically ill for weeks. Think the LA doctors. Yes, that's the big deal right now beyond Trinity, as far as I'm concerned, is that younger people or just people who catch the virus and who don't die may have problems with their respiratory system later on because of this virus. It decreases the capability of the lungs. It's just an additional thing. And here's the thing that really gets me. We could talk about TV. We can talk about, oh, hey man, what's the best place in Thailand? All right, fantastic. Or, how many of you have had a stroke or a heart attack? We could talk about anything. But guess what? Most people in the world right now are thinking about this because it's affecting them. In one way or the other, they're being infected and affected. Let's see if this updates. Yeah, it's not. Well, I'm going to assume that the numbers are not being updated yet. Maybe because of it being the weekend, but I don't know. Let's see here. I can't find that page. Let's see. Yeah. I don't know what happened to it. I had the page. I don't know what I did with it. I'm going to have to find it. No, true, but 2%. Test. Be sure if you're not tested, it could be similar to date. I've had a great life. I will help others as I am called to do so or have the opportunity. That is that. Do I still have goals? Yes. I think your math is a little pointless. So statistics are foreign. Yeah, you know what? My wife told me the other day, I'm not ready to go. I don't want it to be my time yet. I said, well, if it's your time, it's your time. I hate to tell you, it doesn't work that way. But I understand I'm not ready to go either. Now, if I did go, would I say I've had a hell of a life? I've done a lot of things? Yeah, definitely. I say I'm pretty lucky and fortunate to have. I'm fortunate to have done many of the things that I've done, and I've seen a lot of the world and experienced a lot of things. I got a couple of good kids, all right. But that doesn't mean that I'm ready, and I don't want to. I don't want to go to the other side. I want to stay here. How big of a hit do you think the bot will take? Will it go to 40? Depends on the United States. Because, um, it had gone up above 33. But now with all the problems in the United States, it started to go down a little bit. But I think that when the numbers start to increase drastically in Thailand, hopefully they won't. But that's being completely optimistic. Yeah, you know what? I just tend to look at, for me, I tend to look at statistics, and then I look at numerous statistics and see where do they fall. If one is way out of whack, then I got to question it. And I think that I think Thailand is probably a couple of weeks behind the United States in what's happened. I think it's going to be another couple of weeks before it really gets bad here. And I think in a couple more weeks, the United States is going to be horrible. I mean, where's that map? Wasn't there a map on Reuters that showed each state and how bad they were? And Florida, where I'm from, is one of the worst hit. Yeah, I don't see it anymore. What is this? No, this is a graphic. They pulled it down because it means updating it all the time, which is a little difficult. Yeah, here's something else that nobody thinks about. I was talking about the homeless and how I think it's gonna. And this is the thing. Also in the various countries in Africa, it's hit the sub-Saharan region, but in many countries in Africa, they're living like on top of each other, and they don't have a choice. They're gonna have to live on top of each other. They're living in these shanty towns or whatever, and there's nothing they can do about it. So I think it's going to get worse around the world. It's going to take time, but uh, what's the accepted? You knowing you can never ask my widowed wife on a date. You have somebody that you can talk to about that. All right, don't come to me. You knowing you can never ever touch her. My wife has somebody's on all retirement. Well, yeah, that's a big concern is the financial aspect of this. I don't even. U.S. says, what would that do to global commerce? Yeah, there's a lot of what ifs. No aid will go to Africa for a while. Yeah, I think the numbers in Africa, they're still relatively small. And that may be because there's not much testing going on. But I can tell you that uh, with a fair amount of confidence that the number of doctors and medical professionals who are capable of handling this situation is extremely limited, and they're going to find themselves in a lot of trouble if they don't get help from the outside. And they have a relatively few number of people that have been infected now. The cases is relatively small. The numbers are small, but that may just be because they haven't been tested. They attribute the deaths to something else. Who knows? But I dare say that in Cameroon it's up to 91, Ivory Coast 101, Senegal 130, Guyana 141, so Burkina Faso 207. So slowly they're starting to show signs of it, and I don't think it's going to get better there. It may take a month for them to get it together, a month or two before you start to see things going on there that have all the strength. And you're proud of that, Bruce? I can't even watch that stuff anymore. Take it easy there, Niall. Be safe. All this about the numbers, listen, I'm fairly good with numbers in my head until you get into the millions and large numbers. It gets to be a little more difficult. But you need to write it all down. Show your work. I'm going to say the way sooner than later that these therapeutics under trial will show that they are helping patients, then use them on every patient they can. Well, that would be nice. I would really, really like to see some of these dry cough. I'd like to see some of these medicines that have been proclaimed to be useful, that they start using them. I mean, give it a shot. They're going to die anyway. I mean, listen, I'm going to tell them before I get too sick if something happens to me. Try whatever you can. If I start looking like I'm going to die, shoot me up with a bunch of fentanyl and morphine and let me go out happy. Wow. Huh. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that Italy has a shortage of medical professionals right now. I don't know how they can keep up with this. Yeah, and still, then you got the mayor of I don't know what city it is, and he's yelling and screaming, begging people, please don't go out. What are you? It's like, is it stupidity? Is it apathy? What is it that causes? Or is it people feel they have the right to do what they want? I understand that. I feel like I should not be forced to stay inside. However, when it comes down to if you go outside, you may kill your fellow man. There's a good chance, or I'm not going to say good chance. That's the wrong way to put it. There is a small chance. It's like Russian roulette. Okay? There's a small chance that you're going to kill your fellow man or somebody in your family. Do you still want to do it? No. That's really smart. Yeah, that's the thing. Nothing is black or white. It's usually gray. There are shades of gray. Who knows? I mean, we could talk about it. We could talk about it all day long, and it's if hopefully if one or two people that were watching, maybe they're not talking, maybe they're not chatting, they're enlightened and they think, hey, maybe I shouldn't go out. Well, then maybe that helps save somebody. I don't know. That would be nice. I don't know if that's true, but short of declaring martial law and putting the troops out on the street and saying, listen, if you're going out, you need to be approved before you go out. I told my wife the other day, I said, listen, in the middle of the month, I'm going to need to take some money out. I'm going to need to take some cash because I can only pay certain things with cash. And they won't allow me to transfer the money. You have to pay in cash. And she's like, well, you're not going out. She's like, if anybody's going out, it's going to be me. I'm like, well, that's no better. She's like, yeah, it is. It's better if I go out. I'm like, okay. It's better. She's Thai, and she's younger than me. But other than that, I don't know, told they're special. Yeah, listen. We're all special little snowflakes. We're all different. But you know what? At the end of the day, we're all snowflakes. We're still the same. We're made of the same thing. And in our case, it's flesh and blood. So while we are different, and that should be respected, it shouldn't be something that you give too much weight because, yeah, we're different, all right. So, lions are different. What difference does that make? Lions, they're all different. They all have their own personality. So are dogs. Big deal. It doesn't mean we're more entitled than anybody else, The health aspect of this within 6 weeks. Financial. Yeah, the financial fallout is what I kind of worry about. I worry about that, believe me. In fact, let's turn the air off. Yeah, that's the big thing that I worry about. For not just for me and my family. Of course, I worry about that. But the entire world is going to take a massive hit, and it's going to take quite some time to recover. The Spaniards paid for the kits, and then guess what? The kits they get are shit. Made in China. The vast majority of things that I've ever got that were made that are like an item, and it's a Chinese brand. They're shit. I'm going to say 9 out of 10 things. You get the little thing for kids, the little toys where, like the little guy, it's a little robot and he walks and, he talks. Yeah, everything's great. Well, then like 3 days later, the thing breaks down. Doesn't, the other thing is that I've bashed the CCP for quite some time. It doesn't do a bit of good. I don't want to go there. The only reason I would go back to Hong Kong is if I thought I could make a difference. And at this juncture, I don't think I'm going to make a bit of difference there. So, I won't be going back. And I got to think about what comes first, which is the family. It's calculated risk. And right now, no thank you. So, all right. Well, we're getting to the point where I think this stream has run its course, and it's just about time to say goodbye. I don't know if anybody has anything to add, anything useful, informative, please do. Any questions, comments? Of course, you can always share this stream and the playlist, because this goes into the playlist after the fact. I do have some stuff I want to put up on my website and on my Patreon site for my Patreon patrons. I've been meaning to do that. I don't know what else to say. Just hang on for the ride, like I said, like I wrote in the title. Hang on for the ride. Wow. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. There was part of me that thought, man, I wish I had a, 50-foot 50-foot boat right now, and me and the family were out, and we had plenty of supplies, and we're out just kind of like cruising next to the mainland. But that's it's not quite that simple. I've been on for 2 hours and 20 minutes so far, which is longer than I want to be on. Not because I don't enjoy talking to people, I just think it's too long. Are you getting pepper sprayed? You spared a Hong Kong person. Worth getting back. Well, I can say this, that while I got sprayed several times, I do remember the one time, and that really turned me against the Hong Kong police. I was furious because I didn't deserve it. It's one thing. Listen, I understand if I'm standing there and the guy goes move and I don't move and he sprays me, okay. I understand if it's, it just bounces and it actually hits right next to me. He didn't mean for it to happen, whatever. But when I'm standing right there and the guy tells me to move back and I move back and, I'm moving back as far as I can go and I run into a wall, how am I going to go any further back? Then don't spray me in the face. Point me off to go. He did it on purpose. And the reason he did it on purpose was because he was not a Hong Konger. He was from the CCP. How do I know this? Eventually you know. You can see. You can tell the difference. You can hear the language they're speaking. So, that's something else to think about. But anyway, Right now, the Hong Kong protests, unfortunately, and the plight of Hong Kong have taken a back seat uh, to this virus, and there's not much that anybody can do about that for the time being. I do think that um, uh, I do think things will get back to how they were before, but um it's going to take a while. Direction taken from elsewhere, as you said. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it seems so long ago, but I still remember everything like it was yesterday. And I have mixed feelings about the place. I have mixed feelings about the place because I really like the people there, and I like I like the environment. I just like the whole vibe. It was an enjoyable place until you went out and you dealt with the police, and then they were the ones who absolutely ruined everything, in my opinion. They have just done nothing but uh, they have done no good that I've seen in front of my face. When I see them beating up old people and spraying people and threatening people and screaming at people, and it's like, man, there. Not to sound like I'm into the whole Buddhism thing, but there is the way that things should be and the way that things are, and they are almost never the way that they should be. Yeah, I mean, I always tout this movie, but it's a book, Saint Jack by Paul Theroux, and it was made into a movie. I think that movie was 1976 or 86 or something. Let me see if I can find it. Hard to find a really good copy of it. I do have. It's 1979. I do have the movie saved to a disc, but it shows what Singapore was like before it became what it is today, and it's very very interesting to see it in the movie and to see how the people were and how they're different. So things change, times change. Hopefully, times will change for the better. Things will get better here. I'm optimistic, but like I always say, I have a fair amount of pessimism, or is that the word? Pessimism, because I just try to be real, and I gotta say, when I see somebody like Trump, and all he's talking about is so and so did such a great job for me, and they're working very hard on it, and I'm very comfortable and I'm confident with these people, and I'm this and I'm that. I just go, Jesus, dude, tell me this many people were given this product and 3 pallets of mash today, and it's verified. Then, okay, great. I think some of them had no choice. Many of them had no choice. The Hong Kongers, the majority of them had no choice, although they always have a choice. They can always quit. They can quit their job. But obviously that's a big decision, especially if you have a family. And I did manage to talk to at least one person who, he talked to me for, I don't know, about 10 minutes. And he said, I wish it wasn't this way. I don't like it. I don't like having to be like this. But what am I going to do? And, in my head, I'm like, quit? But, imagine you got 3 kids, they're all in a private school. You're stuck. Maybe that's the lesson. But, these kind of things are not going to change. It doesn't matter in 100 years, 500 years, 500 years ago. there's always going to be people who have a bunch of kids, they got responsibility, and they are under somebody's thumb. And if they give it up, then they're like, uh-oh, what am I going to do? I'm going to let my whole family go out and, uh, you know. China does not care if they're liked, and I don't think that they care if they are believed. If they really truly cared, they would know that most people think their government is full of shit. I don't buy a word they say. And I can't say that about the United States. Listen, I mean, I don't believe politicians. I think they're kind of like, an ambulance chasing lawyer. It's like believing Saul Goodman. I mean, come on. You're going to believe everything he says? No, of course not. But they're a hell of a lot better than the CCP. The good thing about living in the middle of nowhere is you can still go out and nobody sees you. Yeah, that is a good thing. I was thinking today that, if you are somebody who has a fair amount of money, or you're a celebrity or somebody like that, just somebody who has a fair amount of money, and you've got a big piece of land, you've got a big yard, let's say you got a swimming pool, maybe you even have a tennis court. You got a little movie, you got a room for watching movies or something like that. Life is fine. You just can't go where you want to go. That's the thing. So the act of telling people you cannot go somewhere, that in itself is difficult for some people to swallow. Now, what I was saying is that earlier, though, is that, and I don't see where it is right now, but let me get back to it because it was important. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no, that's not it. Okay. Is the coronavirus in jails? I mean, what are you going to do in the jails? I mean, that's just, I don't know. Is this the same one? I guess it is here. Yeah, it's difficult for me to see what site. What happened? Oh, I turned the air off. Let's see here. I don't know if it doesn't. Let's see. Trump drops idea. Reuters is squirrely. Now that's it. Doesn't say anything about the lockdown in prisons. Yeah, I mean, I talked about that years. For years, I've been talking about how it would be nice to be in Alaska. And, you're out in the middle. You're fairly self-sufficient, but until winter. And I know what the winters are like there, and they are a bitch. Might as well be in Siberia. I saw that about Trump and the woman. That woman, I think she's in Michigan. Yeah. You get nasty with them, and then you don't get any help. That's not right. I don't like that. But I will say this, that like if you think that we should go and start helping the CCP and helping the Chinese people if they start dropping like flies, I got news for you, man. They'll come back. Those people will come back. And I'm not talking about the people themselves, but the government will come back, and they won't be appreciative of it. They'll turn around and say they did everything themselves. We didn't help them at all. So, what's the answer? Well, you do the right thing. You help the people anyway, and then you deal with them afterwards. I guess that's the ethical thing to do. But I know there's a lot of people to be like, fuck them. Their government wants to be like that. They want to be a bunch of twats. Then, fuck them. So, anyway, we had a fair amount of people in the stream today, which was nice. I think we hit 100, which is pretty good for this stream. Pretty good considering I'm not being shot at in Hong Kong. It doesn't rival the times when I was in Hong Kong where I was getting 300 plus, but at the end of the day, all the numbers, they don't really matter. You know what I mean? It could be 10 million, it could be 3. You're still going to get the same me. You know? You're not going to get, "Hey guys, what's going on? Hey, how you doing? Hey, real Rakib. Hey, what's going on, man? How y'all doing today?" I can't do it. It's just not me. I can't. I got to be me. I got to be real. One of these days, maybe now that I'm stuck here, Rakib, maybe one of these days I'll get the haircut video done. I got. Where's it at? Where are they? I'm gonna show you something. It's such a mess here. I don't even know where they are. What happened to them? Oh, here we go. All right, here's a few. Here's a few of the discs. I'm okay, boss. How you doing over there? Yeah. This is a few, and I've got another 3 back here that are plugged in already. And I'm running out of space. I need to buy another one. Guess what? I can't buy one right now unless I order it, and I definitely don't want to order it through Lazada because they might slide in some Chinese model, and I don't want that happening, and I don't trust them. So that means ordering from Amazon or just waiting, but I'm running out of space, quickly running out of space, and I really don't want to delete things. And I've got I've got these 2 thumb drives. This is 64 and 32, and I've got another 64 on my keychain, and those are full. So I got to make some hard choices, considering I don't want to buy any and have any shipped over to me. Make appointment to give blood if you can. Yeah, I don't know. It's somewhere in here. This is where it is. I'm going to have to search it again. I'm going to have to find out. But, you know, I'm inside, and what I'd like to do is get my kid to do the editing. But even he said to me, he told me the other day, he said, "You know, I don't know what I can do with this. You need to take better video." And I'm like, "So you're saying I'm not a very good videographer?" I'm like, "Why don't you just take over the whole thing then? I'll just be the talent and you shoot everything." So that may happen. I don't know. Depends, because he's busy and he doesn't want to give up his time any more than Nicholas wants to. So, you know. There's all kinds of. Listen, I got all kinds of space that I can get if I want to pay for it. I don't want to pay. I don't want to pay for stuff online. You know. I mean, I could get right from Amazon if I really want. No, this is not what I was thinking of. God damn it. So much for cutting the video, shutting off at the hour and a half, eh? Why did it do this? You're saying the wire cutter, but I'm getting a New York Times company. I don't want, I just want, there we go. Yeah, I don't need that. Is that what you're talking about? Best NAS server. Let me see something here. Can't be. Wire kind of. Okay. I gotcha. I gotcha. I like the lacy drives, man. But anyway, it's not something I should be thinking about. No, Amazon's not in Bangkok, but they do deliver some things. Uh, okay, Rakib. I don't think I'm going to be going to Bangladesh anytime soon. Not, you know. If I'm going to get any kind of backup system or, some hard drives, I'm going to get one of those ones that's redundant, that there's like, you too, really, wear a mask, wash your hands frequently, especially if you're dealing with people cutting their hair, man. Really. Um, I want one of the ones that's got like 4 drives. Each one of them is like 16 terabytes, and it automatically backs up to this one and that one and the next one. That would be nice, but they're freaking expensive, man. And it's like, I just do what I can with what I have for right now, and right now that is not the most important thing to me. It's important, but it's not that important. I got other things to think about. Yeah, I got a lot of other things to think about, but slowly but surely they always get taken care of. And I'm still hoping, excuse me, I'm still hoping that, I get to go to, I have 3 places that I can go to, Koh Chang, Koh Samet, and Koh Tao. I'm hoping I can go to them this year because, raid systems, exactly, that's what I'm talking about. But they're all in Thailand, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But, if the hotels are closed, I'm not going to be going there. If this is still going on, I'm not going to be going there. I'm not going to be going anywhere. It's the way it goes. So, I'm not complaining. I don't want to bitch. But, it's just right now, this is what we got to do. You got to do what you got to do. I'd like to know from any Australians out there what's going on in Australia. I saw a little bit of information saying that, they're getting into the whole social distancing thing and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know. I need to look at that a little bit more. I heard something this morning and I wasn't really listening. Anyway, I hope everybody's okay. You're stocked up. Don't go out. I mean, that's the biggest preparation you can take. Get everything you need to stay at home and shack up. If you got an old lady, just you and the old lady, shack up, sock away some food. I don't know, find creative things to do. There's plenty to do. So, for now, I guess, like I said, this stream has run its course. I'm getting so tired. I need to go take my nap. Need to go take my old people's nap to make sure I keep my immune system up. But all you New Yorkers out there and all you people from Boston, stay safe. Everybody else, stay safe. New Zealand's been on lockdown for a while now. There's a cost in ratings. The key is not if, but when you lose the video data, it's gone forever. Yeah. Yep. Well, that's the one thing about, like uploading stuff. Sometimes it is beneficial to keep it. There is I forget what it is. It's a 3-2-1 system. You have three different methods to back up, and you use two different sources um, for each file that you want to back up. And I am pretty good about that. But what happens is sometimes I get a little bit overwhelmed, and I just go, I'm gonna say I only got this spot open on this disk. I'm gonna save to there, and then next thing you know, I'm like, oh, I don't know where things are. No, her and I were joking yesterday about, oh, what if we were to have another daughter, and I was like, bite your tongue. And she was like, really? You don't want one? But she was joking. I was like, no, I don't. I'm not going to be, the guy who's 80 years old and got a little 16-year-old running around or something like that. I don't want to be that guy. Or, what would it be? If they say 58, 76 years old when she's 18? I don't think so. Nah. I'm going to be like, what is that garbage you're listening to? I already say that sometimes to my wife. My kids, they're rockers, so they don't generally listen to dog shit music. But every once in a while, I catch my wife, and I'm like, now please, turn that shit off. I can't handle it. So, anyway, thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. If you have yet to subscribe, please do so. Click the bell to make sure you get notified of when I'll be streaming or when a video is going to go up. Click like, leave a comment, get yourself some merch, get yourself a book, do whatever. It's all there. If you like what I'm doing here and elsewhere, you can always click on the PayPal or the Patreon and help that way. And also, some people have been getting membership through YouTube, which is always nice. There's $3.99 and $9.99. They have that also available, and that makes it kind of seamless. Which I'm a little surprised by that people would do that. But thank you very much. I appreciate it. And what's most important right now is that we stay alive. Seriously, that's what's important. Food, water, medicine. Stay alive, because there are a lot of people that are in a position now where they're behind the 8 ball, and it could happen to you, it could happen to me, it could happen to somebody we know. So take care, and until next time, I guess that's all I got. So I will talk to you guys later. All right, ciao. How do I put the little doodad on? How about we play a little music, a little exit music? What happened? There we go. Little calm music. Very calm. And it's just non-copyrighted music. Anyway, see you guys later. Adios. Choke the electric and my arrivederci and all that good stuff.